Hello, everyone, and welcome to Worlds 2024 Media Day here at the Indigo Theatre at the iconic I2 in London. I heard one whoop. I hope people are excited for this. Yeah, okay. Here we go. My name is Shax, and I'm absolutely honored to be your host. This is already the 6th annual Worlds Media Day, and it keeps getting bigger and better, as you see from this wonderful theater and how it has filled up. It is an honor to welcome you all, and of course we're all here for the same reason, which is that we will see the culmination of a year's work of our two teams that have made it into the final, T1 and BLG, but also a crowning weekend for the passion of the fans that we've seen throughout the entire year, who have supported all of their favorite teams, and now get to watch an awesome show in the O2, maybe see their favorite win, but I know they'll be cheering no matter what. So. I'm really happy that Worlds was in my home region this year and that we get to do the show in the iconic O2, but we do have a lot to get through today, so I'm just going to run you through it. First up, we'll have opening remarks from John Needham, who is the president of publishing and esports. Then that will be followed by Chris Greeley, the global head of LOL Esports, who will share some, I don't know, some things we may expect in 2025. Hopefully we'll get some exclusives. We'll have a Q&A session featuring Chris, John, and Paul Bellezza, executive producer of League of Legends. Now, after that, we have something that I think all of you will be very excited for, a fireside chat with our musical guests, the iconic Linkin Park. They, of course, gave us the world's anthem this year in Heavy is the Crown, and they will be also taking to the stage in the opening ceremony tomorrow on the stage, the opening ceremony presented by MasterCard. That chat will be hosted by Maria Egan, who is the global head of music. Afterwards, we will take a short break before we take a look, or we meet rather, our finalists for tomorrow. We'll have Bilibili Gaming and T1. You'll be able to ask them all the questions that you desire, and after that, we can all be joined for drinks and to chat about the day and to give me your predictions of tomorrow, who you think is going to win, and then we'll wrap things up. With that, it is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage the president of Riot Games Publishing and Esports, John Needham.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Shax. Awesome job as usual. So it's awesome to be here at the O2 Arena on the eve of World 2024 Finals, T1 versus Bilibili Gaming. This is a rising rivalry in our sport. Both teams have competed against one another in the last 4 International League of Legends tournaments. So BLG twice denied T1 the MSI Finals, and then T1 twice beat BLG during World Swiss. So we are set up for an amazing match tomorrow. We have press here from the UK, Europe, China, Korea, and all around the world to celebrate League of Legends esports. Your support has meant so much to us over the past 14 years. Coverage of our sport is so vital to telling all the player and team stories around Worlds. Co-streaming our broadcast has become a really important part of how players enjoy watching our sport. We have 84 co-streamers driving nearly 40% of our viewership in 21 languages worldwide. Really incredible. But we wouldn't be here without you, so on behalf of Riot, thank you very much. To the teams, you embody the spirit of competition, the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines professional sports. Your journey to this stage is a testament not just to your exceptional skill, but to your hard work and determination. To our dedicated League of Legends players and passionate fans around the globe, you are the soul of League of Legends. Your energy and commitment transform every match into an amazing spectacle. I also want to extend my gratitude to our esteemed commercial partners of our sport and of the professional teams. Your continued support is crucial in elevating LOL Esports and helping us connect with millions of players worldwide in ever more engaging ways. So Worlds has been an incredible journey this year, from Berlin to Paris to London. Our host cities have provided spectacular venues filled with passionate fans. Our European fans have really delivered this tournament. Hearing them cheer at our events gives us so much energy, makes all the hard work of delivering a AAA sports event worth it. Esports is not just a part of League of Legends, it's essential to the game experience we want to deliver to players. Riot Games is unique in the industry because we fuse esports, music, entertainment together around the core game experience to deliver something truly special to our community. And Worlds represents the pinnacle of this experience, inspiring our players with the highest level of competition, where passion and skill are put on display for millions of fans around the world. And this all leads up to a single defining epic event tomorrow. So for us, Worlds is more than just an annual tournament. It's a celebration of the game, our community, competition, and creativity that make League of Legends the powerhouse that it is. Okay, so a quick update on viewership. Not including China, our peak viewership reached 4.81 million viewers last weekend in the T1 versus Gen G match in Paris. That makes it one of the most viewed League of Legends matches ever outside China. Our average minute audience outside of China through semifinals is up 30% year on year, making this already one of the most watched Worlds events in history. It's really amazing to see our esports community growing year after year. So with the action we've had at Worlds this year, it's no wonder that viewership has been so strong. We had Pain Gaming come out of CB Lowell and make the Swiss stage for the first time in the region's history. We saw similarly strong performances from PSG and GAM. Swiss didn't disappoint either, with incredible showings from Gen G and LNG, both escaping round robin without a loss. And those final day heroics from BLG, FlyQuest, and Weibo Gaming, wow, really cool. Speaking of heroics, who could have predicted the absolute slugfest between FlyQuest and Gen G in the quarterfinals, a 5-game series that saw Nunu and Fiddlesticks pulled out. This is amazing. This is certainly a match that fans will be talking about for years. So tomorrow, as T1 and Billy Gaming take the stage to vie for the Summoners Cup, they continue the tradition of excellence and excitement that's defined Worlds. For T1, it means competing to win back-to-back Summoners Cups for a second time in their history. T1's also competing for a record-setting 5th Summoners Cup as well. For BLG, after a run to semifinals at last year's Worlds and a second-place finish at MSI this year, it marks an opportunity to reach the pinnacle and return the Summoners Cup to the LPL for the 4th time. So thank you to everyone who's worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this championship a reality. As we look to the future, let's celebrate not just what League has become, but what it will continue to be, a game that is fueled by a community of the most passionate players around the globe. So here's to making more unforgettable memories at Worlds this year. Thank you. Enjoy the games tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you very much, John. Yeah, of course, players first, and I hope everyone's been enjoying this Worlds. And of course, the shout out to the European crowd. I haven't forgotten. I hope they will turn up tomorrow also in London. And now we will be looking forward to having John back for the Q&A. But before that, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the beautiful world of LoL Esports and what we have to look forward to. So please help me in welcoming Chris Greeley, Global Head of LoL Esports, who will take us through some exciting updates. Stage is yours.
Thank you for the love from the cheap seats. Thank you, Shocks. Great work throughout Worlds this year. You've been awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris. For some reason, they trusted me with the clicker today, so if we have technical difficulties, that's not on me. That's on people who had trust in me. I want to thank all of you for joining us here at Worlds. It has been an incredible year for League of Legends Esports, and as we look ahead to the finals, we also wanted to reflect on the full year, plus give you some exciting news related to the 2025 season. From innovative new global events and significant developments within our regional leagues, we've been working really hard to ensure that LoL Esports continues to thrive and proves to be sustainable for many, many years to come. Our goal through the second half of this decade is to offer even more compelling experiences for players, teams, and fans around the world. Before we dive into what's coming in 2025, let's talk a little bit about 2024 and reflect on fan engagement and our new global revenue pool, which is built to benefit all of our pro teams. So John talked a little bit about the incredible viewership that we've already seen at Worlds this year. This is on top of a year where we had an MSI, which was the most viewed MSI in our history, and we had year-over-year viewership gains in almost every one of our regional leagues around the world. We are absolutely humbled by the continued passion of our fans for League of Legends esports. This packed room full of media, influencers, and partners also is reflective of the health of LoL esports, and we thank you all again very much for your coverage, for your support, for your presence. In addition to our impressive viewership growth, we've made significant progress in our plans to support teams with the launch of our global revenue pool, which will go live in 2025. New initiatives, including Hall of Legends and the introduction of the Global Emotes program, have generated new streams of revenue, allowing us to distribute more revenue back to our pro teams. These efforts are crucial as we continue to create a sustainable ecosystem for the long-term growth of LoL esports, ensuring teams are rewarded for both their contributions and performance throughout the year. So as we look ahead to tomorrow's finals, I couldn't be more excited for the epic showdown between the LPL's BLG and the LCK's T1. Both teams have delivered outstanding performances throughout the tournament, and I know that tomorrow's match will be nothing short of legendary. This year, we will be continuing our tradition of celebrating our world champion on the Rift by placing the Summoner's Cup, complete with the winning team's logo, directly on the Rift. However, in a change from previous years, we won't start that celebration right after Worlds. We're going to start that celebration alongside the launch of the 2025 competitive calendar. So starting with patch 15.2, we will honor our champions that will be crowned tomorrow. We'll honor them on the Rift with the trophy and the icon, as well as a championship icon and a championship emote, all of which will be in-game. And then we will ship the physical Summoner's Cup, which is behind me, to the winning region. This will give our champions the chance to start their season in style. With the cup present for the opening weekend of competitive play in their region, it'll be available to the team to make content. It'll be available to the league to make content. It'll be a really special and memorable touch to their victory that sets the tone for the year ahead and allows us to celebrate our world champion when the entire competitive community comes back together to start the 2025 season. Now, we're talking about 2025. Let's look forward. I'm excited to share the first of several of our announcements about 25. We know that fans have been asking for a third global event for quite some time, and we are thrilled to deliver what we will be calling First Stand. That will be our newest addition to the competitive calendar. So First Stand is designed to ignite regional rivalries and test innovations, and it'll see the best team in Split 1 from each of our 5 regions face off in early season battles, setting the tone for the competition ahead for the rest of the year. This event will take place at the conclusion of Split 1 over the course of 7 days, from March 10th through March 16th, 2025, at our very own LoL Park in Seoul, Korea. In addition to the First Stand tournament, I'm excited that we will also be introducing Fearless Draft, debuting in Split 1 across all 5 of our regions and taking center stage at our new international competition, First Stand. This highly anticipated draft format will push teams to their limits by adding an extra layer of strategy to every best-of series. So let me tell you a little bit about how it works. Once a champion is selected, it will be unavailable for both teams for the remainder of the series. With each game, 10 additional fearless bans are added on top of the usual pick ban phase, making every choice critical. That means no repeat picks at all in the match, even in Game 5. Fearless Draft forces teams to adapt quickly and think creatively as the champion pool shrinks throughout the course of a match, leading to high-stakes gameplay overall. We believe this format will deliver some of the most dynamic and unpredictable matches we have ever seen in League of Legends esports. Now, let's move on to our second global event in 2025. Beginning at the end of June next year, following the conclusion of Split 2, we are thrilled to announce that Canada will be hosting next year's mid-season invitational. After a long hiatus from live League of Legends esports events in Canada, we couldn't be more excited to bring international competition back to our North American fans. Canada will welcome 10 qualified teams from our 5 regions, all battling for a chance to secure their place in history and, of course, their place at Worlds. Canadian fans, get ready. MSI 2025 is going to be unforgettable. Last week, as part of a partnership renewal announcement with OPPO, we also shared that Worlds is returning to China. Today, we are eager to reveal the host city for next year's League of Legends World Championship Finals. Roll the clip. I didn't know the panda was coming. That was great. We are really proud to return to Chengdu next year. The incredible atmosphere, the passionate fan base, and the outstanding hospitality we received during MSI 2024 made Chengdu an ideal location for our next World Final. The city has truly proven itself as a perfect stage for international competition, and we can't wait to go back. Now, I'd like to take this moment to welcome and recognize the Deputy Director General of Chengdu Sports Bureau, who has traveled from China to join us today here in London. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome to celebrate this exciting announcement. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you so much. So I think we're taking a picture. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'll do it in front of the camera. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can't wait to be back. Thank you. All right, so that talks about our competitive calendar for 25. We'll be back at the start of our 2025 competitive season, just a couple of months, right in that January timeframe, to talk about our plans for First Stand, MSI, and Worlds for both 26 and 27, and to give you the actual city for MSI for 2025. So moving on. This week, fans will have seen each regional league share their updates for the upcoming season, including the final update this morning from the League of Legends Championship Pacific. Yeah, that's right, LCP in the house. Yeah, woo, all right. Joining the LCP as a new league is the League of Legends Championship of the Americas, or the LTA. There you go, all right, there we go. Both of these leagues have been given a fresh new look, marking a major step forward in strengthening regional competition while fostering inter-regional rivalries. We're thrilled to welcome both the LCP and the LTA to the 2025 season. These updates not only help us work toward a more sustainable future for LOL Esports, but also unlock new opportunities for high-stakes gameplay and unforgettable matchups that fans won't want to miss. All right, so that's it for me. That wraps up my updates. I want to take a moment to thank everyone for joining us at this year's Media Day. From our speakers, players, and partners to all of you, our incredible media and influencer community, we very much appreciate your coverage and passion in covering our sport. And I will see you all tomorrow. So thank you. Okay, that's all right. All right.
Thank you so much, Chris. Wow, what? Such amazing updates, I don't even know where to start. Like, going back to Chengdu is going to be insane. It was so amazing when we were there for MSI. And I have a couple of colleagues who will be stoked to hear that we're heading to Canada. That was awesome. We'll, of course, see you as well in the Q&A that will happen in just a few minutes. Before we start our executive panel, though, I would also like to welcome Paul Bellezza, executive producer of League of Legends, to introduce himself and say a few words. Paul?
Hi. Thank you, Shocks. Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Bellezza. I'm the executive producer of League of Legends, and I've been with Riot for over 16 years. And can I just say, it's my honor to be here speaking with you all today. I can't wait to answer some questions. It's amazing to be here in London. It's been an amazing world so far. Can't wait to see the games tomorrow. I'm hyped. And some of you may know this, but League recently celebrated its 15th year birthday. And I have to take a step back and be like, if you had asked me years ago, would I be standing here in front of you watching our game played at scale by professional players? I don't think I would have believed it. So it's quite humbling to kind of see where we are and be a part of this with you all. So League is a special game. I think you all here because of that. It's a very special game to me, and I'm just excited to see where we're going to go for the next 15 years, and ultimately, that's all because of our players and folks like yourself that help us continue to evolve and make the game awesome. So please continue to keep us honest, tell us what we like about the game, what we don't like about the game, and we'll continue to evolve it together, because that is the lifeblood of what we do at Riot with League of Legends, and that's what's going to keep us going for the future. So with that, let's have some fun, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you. You can stay on stage, Paul. We will have our Q&A session, so they're bringing the chairs for you, and I'd also like to invite Chris and John back for that. This means we will be kicking off our first Q&A session, and for the media present here, if you would like to ask these gentlemen a question, please line up at the microphone, and when it's your turn, kindly state your name, your outlet, and then your question. Let's get started. You can start lining up. Here we go. Hope there's any takers.
All right, yes, please line up here behind me, and we'll just we'll give it a few minutes to organize the line before we get started.
Wonderful.
Paul, put some water. Yes. Thank you. John, would you like a fancy glass, or are you going to stick with your
I'll stick with my
single-use bottle?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you're always taker. I can appreciate that.
All right, we're going to start with Korean-speaking media, and then we'll go to English-speaking media.
Good afternoon. 안녕하세요. 저는 포머스 박상진 기자고요. 이제 이번 월드컵 결승을 앞두고 내년을 맞이하면서 한 가지 질문이 있습니다. 이제 라이엇 게임즈 같은 경우에는 과거에 리그 오브 레전드라는 한 가지 종목으로만 e스포츠를 진행을 했는데 작년 그리고 올해 발로란트 e스포츠까지 안정적으로 정착을 하면서 두 가지 종목을 현재 한꺼번에 운영을 하고 있습니다. 이 둘의 경우에는 각각 시청자층이 좀 분리되어 있다는 굉장히 신기한 이제 현상을 만들어 주셨는데 어떻게 이제 서로가 서로의 영역을 침범하지 않으면서 서로 간의 이제 팬덤과 시청자층을 확보할 수 있었는지, 그러면서 조금 더 연령대가 높은 리그 오브 레전드 같은 경우에는 그래도 이제 젊은 층을 끌어들이기 위해서 리그 오브 레전드만의 좀 어떤 e스포츠 매력을 어필하고 어떻게 마케팅하며 운영할지가 궁금합니다.
Before we head on to the next year, I have some questions about this year, about Riot Games and LoL Esports, and also Valorant Esports. In the past, Riot Games only have League of Legends as their esports sport, but starting from last year and this year, I think Valorant Esports also found a huge success, and I think Riot Games is doing a great job of managing two different esports, and it's very interesting to me that two sports actually have a very different demographic. So how did you manage to have such a separate two different esports and different fandom and different viewers? And also, I can say League of Legends fans are a little older, so what are your plans or marketing approach to bring more younger demographics to LoL Esports?
I guess I'll start. So yeah, I mean, Valorant, I think the fandom around the esport reflects the player base of the game. Valorant has turned out to be the first competitive experience for a lot of players of Valorant. So that audience is, in fact, very young. The League audience is still young as well, and I think, you know, Paul can talk about this more, but we're constantly evolving the game. We're constantly looking at the community. We want a new young generation playing League of Legends, and we are building plans to make changes to the game that will appeal to that demographic. So I don't know, Paul. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
I'll say this, right? Human beings are always changing their patterns of play, and I think as we as makers of the game need to pay attention to what those player needs are. And so there are things that I can't talk about today, but I think the thing to say is we're paying attention to those patterns of like what is making it harder than it needs to be to understand League. A lot of things that were true 10 years ago aren't necessarily true today, and we're hyper aware of that. And so we're just going to continue to meet players where they are and try to find ways to make sure that the core League you know and love today stays true, but there are different pathways to find your way into it, find your favorite champion, and find your style of play that we want to invest in and will continue to do.
That there's also a translation taking part. So we'll stop down for a second.
Sure.
Jason and Wendy are very impressive. I remember the Whippo interview for in the beginning. It was crazy. They got it all covered. I think that's it, if I can gather. Okay. Chris, would you also like to answer this?
Yep, I think they covered it.
They got it covered?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello everyone, Dominic here from Esports News UK. Thank you very much for being here, bringing Worlds to London again. My question to you is about the LEC Roadshow next year. It was announced that's going on the road. Of course, here in the UK, we have Fnatic, we have Giant X. So my question to you is, you know, what kind of possibility would there be of a roadshow event here in the UK? Because we've had MSI, we've had Worlds, but we're greedy, we want more. And that's a question to John or whoever would like to answer that.
Yeah, I can jump on that one, and I want to be careful because the entire LEC team is sitting up in the balcony, so I don't want anything to come flying over the side and hit me in the head. I think generally all of our regional teams and the LEC team specifically are constantly looking at what markets make the most sense in any given year to take a roadshow to, and that's based on fan base, kind of last time we were there, and a number of other kind of business pieces that fit together. I know that team is actively looking across all of Europe, including London and the UK in general, to bring events to. I don't think there are any specific plans that they're ready to announce or ready for me to announce in their stead, but they're constantly looking at those possibilities. It's a very non-answer answer, but it's a really solid maybe.
We'll wait for the translation for a second. I think. I'm not actually sure. I think we are.
Hello everyone, my name is Eduardo from Base Rush, Brazil. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My question goes to Chris or John. I don't know if who's the proper one to answer that. But with a new tournament on the annual calendar, is on the Riot radar to host one of those 3 major tournaments in other minor regions, as for example Brazil or South America in general?
I can answer that too. First of all, I love your jacket. I think that one of the things you'll find with First Stand is that it does give us an opportunity to go to markets that we may not regularly be bringing MSI and Worlds to. Lal Park in Korea was a great place for us to start, especially we tend to plan events out years in advance. So as we worked on First Stand this year, being able to turn to a very, very talented group of folks at Lal Park to pull the event off for the first year made a lot of sense to us. But as we go forward in future years, we will be looking to go to markets with that event specifically, including markets like South America and Southeast Asia, where we may not have taken an international event in quite some time. So we'll have more announcements about the future roadmap sometime in December or January when we do our start of season announcements, but we'll be talking a little bit more about the plans for First Stand at that point. But I think we're thinking along the same lines you are.
Awesome. You can go ahead.
Just being told to wait a second for translation.
Okay.
Great. Hi, everyone. Sean Wetzlar for the Score Esports. Very happy to hear we're going to get an event in Canada. That's exciting. Chris, you said in your opening remarks that there's going to be this new revenue pool which will provide more revenue opportunities for pro teams in 2025. Can you just share some details about how the approach next year is going to differ from previous years? And are there any lessons from previous revenue sharing efforts like the team logos and such that have been in the game that you're bringing forward into the approach for next season?
Yeah, sure. So in most of our leagues, where especially the ones where we had long-term partnerships like North America, Europe, and Korea, we had a revenue share that revolved around sponsorships and media rights. That was a great plan when we pulled it together, for the first league in 2018. But I think the market has evolved a lot since then, and we've realized that it's a lot more volatile, the sponsorship and media market, than maybe we first thought. It also doesn't perfectly align team interest with our interests. Like often we were in the market selling, talking to partners almost in competition with each other. Being able to focus on digital goods allows us to better align with teams so that we're all out kind of talking to fans in the same way. And it creates this really unified vision for us and teams and with the game team as well to create things that deliver a lot of player value and also help push fandom forward in esports. So I think we really started down the road last year with the season kickoff event. The winning teams from all of those regions worked with us to create emotes. We kind of took the learnings from that into the Global Emotes program this year, and we're able to expand it to all of our Tier 1 leagues. And we're going to take a lot of those learnings into next year. We'll take some of our existing revenue share from the skins that are sold around First Stand, MSI, and Worlds, the Worlds winner skins and Hall of Legends, and be able to put those together with kind of anything else we were able to release and kind of work through over the next couple of years.
Thank you. May I remind both the journalists and the executives to keep the questions relatively short or concise, as well as the answers. It was David who said that you speak too long, Chris. It wasn't me.
No,
okay, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
I don't think we're holding up. So go ahead, Travis.
Hey, it's Travis. So first question is for Paul, quick question. What are the chances that Riot will release a sequel to The Misadventures of PB Winterbottom?
Hi, Travis. Nice to see you. Highly doubtful. 2K owns the IP, but if they ever wanted to make a sequel, I would play that game. So thank you for your question, though.
Cool. Pausing for translation. So the real question is to John. We were just talking about digital goods. What percentage do you see the sponsorship revenue versus other revenues versus digital revenues becoming for Riot Esports? Because it sounds like now there's a pretty big move towards digital goods as the primary revenue model. So how do you see that sitting alongside sponsorships, especially as a percentage pool?
Yeah. So over the past few years, coming out of the pandemic, the sponsorship market weakened generally. With a lot of uncertainties around the economy and just generally uncertainty about how the economy was going to react coming out of the pandemic. I think we are seeing a lot more interest from sponsors, like very recently this year, in coming back to our esports, a lot of new sponsors coming in. So I expect while we've been pretty flat over the past 3 years, we're going to see some growth in sponsorship. But digital revenues have grown a lot more than what we expect sponsorships to grow. We've introduced new products like Hall of Legends. We have the Global Emote program that's launching. We're working on other products with Paul's team as well to deliver around our international events. So we will see dramatic growth rates. We've continued to see, and this is one of the reasons why. Sorry, I'll pause. And I'll get into the second part.
Let them do their work. Oh, you can keep going.
It's
a challenge.
Okay.
Let's go.
So this is one of the reasons why we changed our business model, the foundation of our business model, from sponsorships and media revenue to digital. In those times where sponsorships were relatively flat, digital revenues kept increasing. Now with new products, we're really seeing incremental jumps in revenues. And that combined with consolidating our professional leagues to have less teams to share revenues with, we're going to see a really good revenue share with teams.
Awesome. We're all good. Next one.
A little short for this mic. Hi, this is Jay Silver with Jay Silver Presents. Thank you guys so much for being here and speaking with us. My question is for Chris, and Chris, we missed you at Los Angeles, so I'm glad to see you here. I have a question about the two new rebrandings, specifically with the LCP and the LTA. With these new regions that are emerging, there are some teams that have left the organizations and their fans are disheartened, possibly just frustrated that the teams have left and now they're left homeless without a team to root for. So my question for you is, how can you assure that these fans are seen, heard, and recognized, and how can you help them, how can you promise them to have a positive experience with these two new regions?
Yeah, I think we spent a lot of time with the regional. First of all, I missed being in LA, so thank you for saying that. I had a family conflict, but the games were great and I watched them. So I think we've worked really hard with the regional teams in both Southeast Asia and the Americas on how they're going to transition those leagues and reach the fans who may be frustrated not only about, in some cases, their favorite team not being in the league anymore, but potentially even just about the fact that we made changes overall. Change is hard. We get that. I think there's a couple of pieces, right? One is like and they're different in both leagues. And I promised David to try to keep it short so Shox doesn't have to yell at me again. In the LCP, I think you're going to see really amazing inter-regional rivalries start to develop across all the countries that are playing there. And we're hoping that if you are a fan, for example, of a team in Vietnam who is not moving on, that you can find a home with the teams from Vietnam that were included, right? You can be a Wales fan, you can be a GAM fan. And you can find that national pride as they go to play teams from other countries in the region. When you look at the LTA, I think you're going to see, and I think we saw a little bit of it in Worlds Play-In, I think you're going to see really incredible nationalistic rivalries form between Brazilian fans, Latin American fans, and North American fans. And I hope that if you are a fan of a team that has left, you're able to find a home with a new team. A lot of those pro players are sticking around, they're moving to new teams, and I think that our existing brands and our remaining brands are really desperate to take the message they have and the fun that their fans are having and invite more fans into the tent. But I can tell you the regional teams are always listening. Piotr and Ban in the LCP and Carlos and Mark Z in the LTA, super eager to engage with fans and to find ways to make sure that they're continuing to connect week after week.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Just as a clarification, the English questions are being translated, which is no prerogative to go any longer on the answer, but I love the answer. Thank you for that, Chris. Ashley?
I'm short. Again, thank you so much for being here and keeping an open conversation with the media outlets as well as press. I apologize because this question will be long, but I just wanted to provide enough context. It has been a well-celebrated annual tradition to release music videos for every World Championship. However, 2024's Heaviest the Crown's reception was perhaps more divided based on recorded statistics, especially for the LCK and the LPL audience. In terms of storytelling, in terms of the accuracy of depiction of our beloved players, in terms of the relatively screen time of the players, based on things that are very public on YouTube comments, and etc. And we, of course, understand that creative outcomes will vary in results and reception due to so many differing factors, some of them random, but what is Riot's understanding on the reception of the heavy of the crown? Why do you think that this situation has perhaps occurred? If you can provide us any insight, and what are some of the measures that you are planning to take in order to possibly mitigate similar division in reception in future Worlds videos? Thank you so much.
I'll take it. I'm waiting for translation.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
We're good? Okay. We're super happy with the video. We're getting record viewership of the video. We understand that fans will have a different reaction creatively to what we do. Music is a very important part of the game experience, and you take risks when you work with bands. We love Linkin Park. We're going to have an amazing opening ceremony tomorrow. We like the video. We always learn from feedback from our community, so we will take that in and we will use that when we go to produce next year's Worlds video. So thank you for the feedback.
Not a feedback from my side, but
No. I'm saying generally to fans.
Okay, cool, thank you.
We learn.
Thank you, Ashley.
This is Florian Merz from Sport 1 in Germany. As a longtime fan of League of Legends, I'm really looking forward to see you guys coming back to more than just 2 international events. And I have 2 questions in this regard. How did you come up with the name of First Stand? And what did you make to choose the aforementioned format for that?
We spent a lot of time on the name, to be totally honest with you. I think at the end of the day, we wanted to find something that felt really attached to League of Legends, the game, as opposed to just giving it the, you know, I came in and said, let's just call it season kickoff event. We've already done it once. We've got the branding for it. Everyone knows what it is. It'll be good. The creative types told me I was crazy. They came back with lots and lots of options. We spent a lot of time kind of crossing stuff off and circling things and having a bunch of conversations. Ultimately, I think we wanted to reflect something that felt really good in terms of a tournament. Like every region is going to carry a tournament into First Stand. So to us, it feels like one big tournament that's just starting in 5 different places and ending at the end. First Stand, when we looked at all of the options we had in front of us, was the one that the team looked at and said, like, yes, this feels really good for us. In terms of format, we'll talk in a lot more detail at the start of the season. But the goal for us really is, if you look at First Stand has 5 teams, MSI has 10, Worlds has 17, but it's really 1 from each region, 2 from each region, 3 from each region. We wanted to build as we went. The real 2 kind of things we built First Stand on is we want to see every team play every team at that event. So if you're an LTA fan and an LEC fan, you will get to watch those 2 teams play each other, guaranteed. You don't have to worry about draws or anything. They will play, and they'll play in a best-of series. The second thing is we really wanted to focus on taking risks competitively. So Fearless Draft is where we landed for 2025. We are deep at work on our competitive ops side for what 2026 can look like. There may be a world where we have a different sort of competitive format for that first split. We think it's a great opportunity for us to take some chances, to do something that helps stretch teams and pros, and that's super entertaining for fans.
Awesome.
Thank you, and thank you for having us.
Vielen Dank, Florian. Viel Spaß noch. Awesome. So we'll get LEC versus LTA. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the things.
Go ahead.
Hi guys, first of all, thank you for your time. I'm Theo from Sons of Guys and La Geek Web from Americas. I wanted to ask John, now with the announcement of the LTA, it's the second Riot Games competition in which Latin America and North America have merged following the VCT Americas. So I wanted to ask you if this can higher up the opportunities of having a major event in Latin America, and countries different than Canada, the US, or Mexico, but not only on League of Legends and Valorant, but also on Teamfight Tactics or the following 2XKO.
Yeah, look, we have been to Mexico. We did a stage of Worlds in Mexico City last year? 22, 2 years ago. And we had an amazing response from fans. We love our fans in Latin America. I think, like, similar to what Chris said, Now that we have different grades of international events, that gives us more opportunities to go to markets that are a little bit smaller. So stay tuned. Yeah, I hope we get there.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, Aaron Down from PC Games N here. First of all, thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and thank you for bringing Worlds to our ends. It's very much overdue, I think. First one, just a really quick one for Paul. I mean, I'm personally really excited. I'm sure many people are here for the Bridge of Progress to come in, finally seeing a bit of a shake-up in the ARAM map pool a little bit there. But I just wanted to know if this was just kind of like the start for perhaps bringing in new maps or sort of skins for the maps in the game, something that you guys want to sort of explore a little bit more long-term. And the second question, well, I'll answer that one just to give you guys a little bit of time to think. We have, obviously, as you've said, just celebrated, 15 years of League, which is a remarkable achievement, especially considering you see so many games nowadays, even AAA titles sort of launch and then falter. So for the three of you, I got to ask, what it is for each of you, what you feel is the magic, what it is that you feel has allowed League to persist for this long, and sort of how that means to you.
So let's start with the Bridge of Progress ARAM stuff. We're very excited to bring this moment to everybody to kind of experience a piece of the Arcane experience in the game. Very much the show was inspired by the game, and the game inspires the show, so we have this kind of loop that creatives feed off each other for it. So I'm personally very excited, and I worked on the Bilgewater event many years ago where we brought Butcher's Bridge as an experience. So I'm a big fan of finding ways to bring those thematics to our mode so that players can feel it a bit differently each time. Now, whether we will continue to do that, we shall see. There is technology that may enable us to have more capability, but I cannot confirm anything. But let's just say I like these things, so I would love to talk to my team more about it. And they're going to punch me in the face now, but so we shall see. But I think we'll see what happens with this version that's coming out. And then I'll let the whole crew start answering the second question.
I'm gonna wait till Shocks tells us we can talk.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's that?
You can go.
I can go? Okay,
Yeah.
So, my job now is basically managing all the around game experiences around our core games. And our games at Riot, at their core, they're competitive games, so they're going to have, I think, a lot more longevity than normal out-of-the-box games, because every game's different depending on who you're playing in the mix of champions or agents that are competing against one another. But Riot invests more in its players than any other publisher out there. We do that with this event, with Worlds and with Esports. We do it with music. We do it with animated TV shows like Season 2 of Arcane that's about to come out. And that just speaks, I think, to the depth of the experience we want to deliver to our players, and it matters. I think this is where we try to elevate our players to become fans of our game, and we do it with all these levers around these great games that we make. So I think that, more than anything, is added to the longevity of League, and it will happen with Valorant and 2XKO and all of our other games as well.
I think being able to update a game every 2 weeks for 15 years is an incredible accomplishment. I think it makes the game feel incredibly fresh, even if when I get home from Worlds, like not playing very much now, but when I get home from Worlds and I'm back to my PC, the game will be different than when I left it, right? So there's always something to get better at, there's always something to master, and there's always something that pulls you back. And that to me is why so many folks, even folks who have left League for some amount of time, always find their way back, because it's really hard not to, honestly.
Lovely.
Wait, I'll do this one. This one means a lot. This question means a lot to me because it's been such a part of my life for so long. I mean, I've been working on I started working on this game in 2006, right? So that's almost 20 years. And to think that the idea of the game, that a game could evolve and last for this long is pretty unique and rare, and I think special. And I think it's not the time that makes it special. I think it's the ability for it to forever change. We alluded to, we said it, like we patch every 2 weeks. That was something new a long time ago. And I think what it allows us to do is continue to evolve it to meet what players tell us and need it to be. That relationship, that cycle is super special to keep it fresh, but also just to go, how do we adapt to what people need as they move on with different phases of their life? I was talking to someone today about a family who plays games with their children, and they will continue to do that. The fact that you can bring and come up together like as a squad, you know, make sure your mom covers mid, your dad covers jungle, and like, you know, your kids are the top laners, and maybe your crazy uncle is filling, right? That's brings people together, right? And that coordination of play, those experiences where like you come back from impossible odds when you didn't think it was going to happen, or you do an unconventional pick. The game has infinite ability for you to kind of continue to experiment, and I think that combination of experiences that you can play with your friends or your family and continue to discover things just makes it feel like something we can iterate forever, and like that's incredible. So my hope is we continue to do that for as long as players will continue to do it, and we're going to be there to do our best to serve it, and that is truly incredible.
All wonderful answers. Thank you very much.
Wow. Oh, Paul, what an answer. I've got goosebumps. Also, tomorrow, right, it's also the same thing. It's about who's going to pick what. Is it going to be a pike from Caria? Is it going to be so back and forth? I love that. Thank you so much.
All right, this will be the final question for this session.
Hello, this is Pedro from Centinela in Mexico. My question is for John or Chris. How is going to be the strategy to build communities or have a closer communications with the LTA, especially with the LLA fans that are going to be on no lands, with the teams as a light in the middle of nowhere, and maybe they need an ABC to build this new product?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So thank you for the question. I think the team has spent a lot of time thinking about that. I think their sort of first piece as they've attacked it, and I hate speaking for them, but again, they're up there, they'll throw stuff if I get it wrong. It's to make sure that we're not looking at Latin America, right? There's a lot of countries in there, there's a lot of cultures in there, there's a lot of really dedicated, incredible sports fans there that I think we want to make sure that the LTA is able to connect with. So the first part of that, I think, is something that we're going to lean into the teams to do, to help take pro players, to help take brands, and to be able to reach out to fans, whether they're in Mexico, whether they're in Peru, whether they're in South America, in Argentina or Chile, and find a way to connect more directly with them. I think the second thing, and it came through the LTA's announcement video, is that they are looking for ways to bring more of their events, not just to Sao Paulo in LA, but to begin to look at the entire region as some place where they want to be able to deliver direct fan experiences, whether it's road shows on one end or viewing parties on the other. But I think community building is top of the priority chart for them, and that team is going to continue to work to make sure that LLA fans feel like they have a home in the LTA, and that they don't have to tune into leagues in other regions if they don't want to find something that feels like a really great League of Legends esports experience for them that they can connect to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Muchas gracias. We are almost done, but there are some very special guests that are getting set up as well. So I will ask you a few questions if that's okay. This is when the grilling begins. No, I'm kidding. I know you never wager predictions, right? Is that correct? Is that still the case? Like you never give you a prediction?
I like
you would?
predictions.
Okay, go ahead. And also, and why, of course.
Yeah, this is dangerous.
No, it is dangerous,
Yeah,
but look, watching T1 all year, it's been a pretty amazing ride. They almost didn't make it to Worlds this year, and their performance during Worlds has been amazing. So, you know, if I had to pick one of the two, I would pick T1.
Okay, it's on record.
I'm predicting 5 games,
Nice.
and whatever happens from there is up to the League of Legends gods.
That's true. Paul, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
I just want to hear Silver Scrapes.
Yeah, same. I think last year, although it was an incredible moment in Korea, seeing T1 win as well, I would have loved for it to be 5 games. We'll see if it is today. Chris, may I ask you, having been in Chengdu myself for MSI, and it was really, really awesome, but what were kind of the qualities that made you want to revisit that city now for a World Final?
Yeah, I think we had an incredible fan turnout for all the matches in MSI. MSI is a long run, and there was no day in the venue where we felt like the fans in the region just didn't bring an incredible amount of excitement and energy. I think the other really big piece for us was how great the local officials in Chengdu were to work with. They were incredibly welcoming, incredibly hospitable. Bringing a big event anywhere is really difficult. I think you'll see in all the success we've had in Worlds in Europe, it's because of our incredible relationships with the city of Berlin, the city of Paris, the city of London. And I think our success at MSI this year came from our relationship with the city of Chengdu. So we're really excited to be able to go back there to leverage those relationships and kind of a lot of the learnings we picked up when we were there this year.
Awesome. It was great. It was a great experience, a great fan experience as well.
Great hot pot too.
Great hot pot. We
That's
had it
correct.
almost every night. It was crazy. We will have Linkin Park joining us in just a little bit, and it's been wonderful seeing people get really hyped about the song. I know I've heard it a lot because it's in the broadcast a lot, of course, and it's been a pleasure. And I'd love to know if any of you were you like a Linkin Park fan when you were a bit younger, or are you a newer fan, or are you familiar with their work?
I love Linkin Park. So yeah, I was a huge fan. I was very excited to hear that they were coming back and that we could be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. When they told me that this was going to be a thing, I was like, what the? All right, sounds awesome. Let's go. Yeah.
And the track was just perfect
Yeah.
for our anthem.
That was great.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I take the nerding one step further. So Mike Shinoda also had a side project called Fort Minor
Yeah.
that I was also an enormous fan of. So for me, it really brought a lot of things together, but Linkin Park, big part of my growing up, so fantastic.
Yeah. Can you say something about how important the fact is that this song has turned into kind of a pop culture phenomenon, right? And when you realize that it has shifted, because this has happened for a very, very long time, and there are some super memorable moments at that. But I feel like in the last couple of years, it's really taken the whole world by storm, not necessarily just people who are already a fan of League of Legends.
I mean, it's pretty humbling when that happens. I think all we intended to do was create something that spoke to, honoring the competition, honoring the moment, and the partnership was organic and natural. And the fact that that's the result is just something you can only kind of dream of, but I don't think you can go in intentionally hoping for that. It's just, if the magic's there, it's there, and we're just lucky that it's turned into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have an incredible music department.
Yeah.
You'll get to see Maria in a little bit, but they do just a great job going out and finding artists that we want to work with. And every year we seem to hit with a big artist really helping us amplify this great event that we do. So yeah, like Paul said, it's super humbling and fun to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the journalists will probably be a little tilted that I'm up here now asking questions when they could have asked, so I'm going to ask a critical one, if I may. I am from the LEC, and obviously there was a lot of hubbub about having the LEC studio be kind of the Swiss stage. Now, as someone who broadcasts herself, that was very comfortable in order to produce what we wanted to produce. We know the studio very well. We know its limitations and its abilities, and we're used to working it in its entire year. But in the same vein, I can also understand if there were some fans that said, well, I've been here a couple of times already this year, right? Is there anything you could say about that process?
Yeah, I'm happy to, but if you, first of all, who let you ask the hard questions? You're just supposed to be throwing softballs, but that's okay. I think that being in the Berlin studio, in addition to kind of all the things you pointed out, does allow us in certain ways to go bigger in other places. So I think you'll see the spectacle around our finals in O2 really lent, we were able to borrow a lot from the Swiss stage. With that said, when we're in a better position to talk about next year, I think you'll see that Swiss is in a slightly larger venue as we go into next year. And as we look into the future, like, I think it's going to be an interesting balancing act for us to figure out, like, how do we right-size each round so that the tournament continues to feel bigger and better every year. But you know, we're giving due attention to each round. So we're spending a lot of time with our events team, our content services team, kind of looking through what the future can hold around that stage.
Awesome.
Hope I didn't just get myself fired, but I guess John.
That's perfect.
Yeah, okay, cool.
That's perfect.
I'm sorry. We won't keep you any longer. We will take a quick break before we get back, and then we will have our fireside chat with Lincoln Park. So a short break, you can get a refreshment, but hang around. We'll tell you the second that we're going to be starting again. We'll give you some time, of course. So thank you very much for listening to this first part, and we're going to see you very, very soon. Thank you. Thank you.